Hey guys, good morning. Welcome back to our new video. In this video, we are going to see another new chapter and sections of the Customs Act 1962. I am giving you knowledge about the Customs Act 1962 regarding the customs clearance, imported and export goods. So guys, I am the first person in India who is giving to you in detail a lot of information about the Customs Act 1962, customs clearance and imported and export goods. So don't forget to subscribe my channel and also gain your knowledge about the Customs Act 1962. So guys, in the previous videos we have already seen up to the chapter number 13. So in this video we are going to see chapter number 14. And in the same, there is sections from section 111 to section 127. So there is 17 sections in this chapter. So very important chapter in regards to Customs Act 1962. So chapter number 14 is confiscation of goods and conveyances and imposition of penalties. So, chapter number 14, confiscation of goods and conveyances and imposition of penalties. In the same, section 111 is confiscation of improperly imported goods, etc. Section 112 is penalty for improper importation of goods. Section 112 is penalty for improper importation of goods. Section 113 is confiscation of goods attempted to be improperly exported. So, section 113 is confiscation of goods attempted to be improperly exported. Section 114 is penalty for attempt to export goods improperly, etc. Section 114 is penalty for attempt to export goods improperly, etc. Section 114A penalty for short levy or non-levy of duty in certain cases. Section 114A penalty for short levy or non-levy of duty in certain cases. Section 114A penalty for short levy or non-levy of duty in certain cases. Section 114 AA penalty for use of false and incorrect material. Section 114 AA penalty for use of false and incorrect material. Section 114 AB penalty for obtaining instrument by fraud. Section 114 AB penalty for obtaining instrument by fraud. Section 114 AC penalty for fraudulent utilization of input tax credit for claiming a refund. Section 114 AC penalty for fraudulent utilization of input tax credit for claiming a refund. Section 115 confiscation of conveyances. Section 115 confiscation of conveyances. Section 115 confiscation of conveyances. Section 116 penalty for not accounting for goods. Section 116 penalty for not accounting for goods. Section 117 penalties for contravention etc. not expressly mentioned. Section 117 penalties for contravention etc. not expressly mentioned. Section 118 confiscation of packages and their contents. Section 118 confiscation of packages and their contents. Section 119 confiscation of goods used for concealing smuggled goods. Section 119 confiscation of goods used for concealing smuggled goods. Section 119 confiscation of goods used for concealing smuggled goods. Section 120 confiscation of smuggled goods notwithstanding any change in form etc. Section 120 confiscation of smuggled goods notwithstanding any change in form, etc. Section 121 Confiscation of sale proceeds of smuggled goods. Section 121 Confiscation of sale proceeds of smuggled goods. Section 122 Adjudication of confiscations and penalties. Section 122 Adjudication of confiscations and penalties. Section 122 Adjudication of confiscations and penalties. Section 122A Adjudication procedure. Section 122A Adjudication procedure. Section 123 Burden of proof in certain cases. Section 123 Burden of proof in certain cases. Section 124 Issue of show cause notice before confiscation of goods, etc. Section 124 Issue of show cause notice before confiscation of goods, etc. Section 125 Option to pay fine in lieu of confiscation. Section 125 Option to pay fine in lieu of confiscation. Section 125 is option to pay fine in lieu of confiscation. Section 126 on confiscation property to waste in central government. Section 126 on confiscation property to waste in central government. Section 126 on confiscation property to waste in central government. Section 127 award of confiscation or penalty. Section 127 award of confiscation or penalty by customs officers not to interfere with other punishments. Section 127 award of confiscation or penalty by customs officers not to interfere with other punishments. So, section 111 is confiscation of improperly imported goods, etc. Section 111 is confiscation of improperly imported goods, etc. The following goods brought from a place outside India shall be liable to confiscation. Clause A. Any goods imported by sea or air which are unloaded or attempted to be unloaded at any place other than a customs port or customs airport appointed under clause A of section 7 for the unloading of such goods. Clause B. Any goods imported by land or inland water through any route other than a route specified in a notification issued under clause C of section 7 for the import of such goods. Clause C. Any dutiable or prohibited goods brought into any bay, gulf, creek, or tidal river for the purpose of being landed at a place other than a customs port. Clause D. Any goods which are imported or attempted to be imported or are brought within the Indian customs waters for the purpose of being imported contrary to any prohibition imposed by or under this act or any other law for the time being in force. Clause E. Any dutiable or prohibited goods found concealed in any manner in any conveyance. Clause F. Any dutiable or prohibited goods required to be mentioned under the regulations in an arrival manifest or import manifest or import report which are not so mentioned. Clause G. Any dutiable or prohibited goods which are unloaded from a conveyance in contravention of the provisions of section 32 other than goods inadvertently unloaded but included in the record kept under subsection 2 of section 45. Clause H. Any dutiable or prohibited goods unloaded or attempted to be unloaded in contravention of the provisions of section 33 or section 34. Clause I. Any dutiable or prohibited goods found concealed in any manner in any packages either before or after the unloading thereof. Clause J. Any dutiable or prohibited goods removed or attempted to be removed from a customs area or a warehouse without the permission of the proper officer or contrary to the terms of such permission. Clause K. Any dutiable or prohibited goods imported by land in respect of which the order permitting clearance of the goods required to be produced under section 109 is not produced or which do not correspond in any material particular with the specification contained therein. Clause L. Any dutiable or prohibited goods which are not included or are in excess of those included in the entry made under this act or in the case of baggage in the declaration made under section 77. Clause M. Any goods which do not correspond in respect of value or in any other particular with the entry made under this act, or in the case of baggage with the declaration made under section 77 in respect thereof, or in the case of goods under transshipment with the declaration for transshipment referred to in the provision to subsection 1 of section 54, clause N, any table or prohibited goods transited with or without transshipment or attempted to be transited in a contravention of the provisions of chapter 8. Clause O. Any goods exempted subject to any condition from duty or any prohibition in respect of the import thereof under this act or any other law for the time in force, in respect of which the condition is not observed unless the non-observance of the condition or sanctioned by the proper officer. Clause P. Any notified goods in relation to which any provisions of Chapter 4A or of any rule made under this act for carrying out the purposes of that chapter have been contravened. Clause Q. Any goods imported on a claim of differential rate of duty which contravenes any provisions of chapter 5AA or any rule made thereunder. Section 112, penalty for improper importation of goods. Any person, clause A, who in relation to any goods does or omits to do any act, which act or omission would render such goods liable to confiscation under section 111 or abets the doing or omission of such an act, or clause B, who acquires possession of or is in any way concerned in carrying, removing, depositing, harboring, keeping, concealing, selling, or purchasing, or any other manner dealing with any goods which he knows or has reason to believe are liable to confiscation under section 111 shall be liable. Clause I. In the case of goods in respect of which any prohibition is in force under this act or any other law for the time being in force, to a penalty not exceeding the value of the goods or 5,000 rupees, whichever is the greater. Clause second. In the case of dutiable goods, other than prohibited goods subject to the provisions of section 114A, to a penalty not exceeding 10% or of the duty sought to be evaded or 5,000 rupees, whichever is higher, provided that where such duty as determined under subsection 8 of section 28 and the interest payable thereon under section 28AA is paid within 30 days from the date of communication of the order of the proper officer determining such duty, the amount of penalty shall be liable to be paid by the such person under this section with 25% of the penalty so determined. Clause subsection 3. In the case of goods in respect of which the value stated in the increment under this act, or in the case of baggage in the declaration made under section 77, in either case hereinafter in this section referred to as the declared value is higher than the value thereof, to a penalty not exceeding the difference between the declared value and the value thereof, or 5,000 rupees, whichever is the greater. Clause 4. In the case of goods falling under clauses first and third, to a penalty not exceeding the value of the goods or the difference between the declared value and the value thereof, or 5,000 rupees, whichever is the highest. Subsection 5. In the case of goods falling under clauses second and third, to a penalty not exceeding the duty sought to be evaded on such goods or the difference between the declared value and the value thereof, or 5,000 rupees, whichever is the highest. So section 112 is penalty for improper importation of goods. Section 113, confiscation of goods attempted to be improperly exported. The following export goods shall be liable to confiscation. Clause A. Any goods attempted to be exported by sea or air from any place other than a customs port or custom airport appointed for the loading of such goods. Clause B. Any goods attempted to be exported by land or inland order through any route other than a route specified in a notification issued under Clause C of Section 7 for the export of such goods. Clause C. Any goods brought near the land frontier or the coast of India or near any bay, gulf, creek, or tidal river for the purpose of being exported from a place other than a land customs station or a customs port appointed for the loading of such goods. Clause D. Any goods attempted to be exported or brought within the limits of any customs area for the purpose of being exported, contrary to any prohibition imposed by or under this Act or any other law for the time being in force. Clause E. Any goods found concealed in a package which is brought within the limits of the customs area for the purpose of exportation. Clause F. Any goods which are loaded or attempted to be loaded in contravention of the provisions of Section 33 or Section 34. Clause G. Any goods loaded or attempted to be loaded on any conveyance or waterborne or attempted to be waterborne or being loaded on any vessel, the eventual destination of which is a place outside India without the permission of the proper officer. Clause H. Any goods which are not included or are in excess of those included in the entry made under this Act, or in the case of baggage in the declaration made under Section 77. Clause I. Any goods entered for exportation which do not correspond in respect of value or in any material particular with the entry made under this Act, or in the case of baggage. Clause second, any goods entered for exportation under claim or drawback which do not correspond in any material particular with any information furnished by the exporter or manufacturer under this Act in relation to the fixation of rate of drawback under Section 75. Clause J. Any goods entered for exportation under claim of remission of refund of any duty or tax or levy to make a wrongful claim in contravention of the provisions of this Act or any other law for the time being in force. Clause K. Any goods cleared for exportation which are not loaded for exportation on account of any willful act, negligence, or default of the exporter, his agent, or employee, or which, after having been loaded, exportation are unloaded without the permission of the proper officer. L. Any specified goods in relation to which any provisions of this chapter 4b or of any rule made under this act for carrying out the purposes of the that chapter have been contravened. Section 113 is confiscation of goods attempted to be improperly exported. Section 114 penalty for attempt to export goods improperly, etc. Section 114 penalty for attempt to export goods improperly, etc. Any person who, in relation to any goods, does or omits to do any act, which act or omission which would render such goods liable to confiscation under Section 113 or obeys the doing or omission of such an act shall be liable. The clause first, in the case of goods in respect of which any provision is in force under this Act or any other law for the time in force, to a penalty not exceeding three times the value of the goods as declared by the exporter or the value as determined under this Act, whichever is the greater. Clause second, in the case of dutiable goods other than prohibited goods subject to the provisions of Section 114A to a penalty not exceeding 10% of the duty sought to be evaded or 5,000 rupees, whichever is higher. Provided that where any such duty as determined under subsection 8 of section 28 of, and the interest payable thereon under section 28AA is not paid within 30 days from the date of communication of the order of the proper officer determining such duty, the amount of penalty shall be liable to be paid by such person under this section shall be 25% of the penalty so determined. Clause 3. In the case of any other goods, so penalty not exceeding the value of the goods as declared by the exporter or the value as determined under this act, whichever is the greater. So, section 114 penalty for attempt to export goods improperly, etc. Section 111 confiscation of improperly imported goods. Section 112 is penalty for improper importation of goods. Section 113 is confiscation of goods attempted to be improperly exported. Section 114 is penalty for attempt to export goods improperly, etc. So guys, we have seen three sections in this video. Section 115 onwards. We will see in the next video. Till time, bye bye and take care, and don't forget to subscribe my channel because I am the first person in India who is giving you in detail a lot of knowledge on my YouTube channel. So guys, thank you for watching.